Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Reckless Paradise podcast. I'm your host, Dystro, and tonight's episode it is going to be a Royal Rumble themed episode. Now, we are in Royal Rumble season, which is very, very fitting, because tonight's episode is basically a Royal Rumble episode. But the question was, what Royal Rumble was I going to do? Um, Marissa had given me the task of kind of picking and choosing which Rumble to do, but only within the 2000s, not the 2010s, not 2020s, just the 2000s. Um, so I kind of had to pick and choose wisely here. And I think the Royal Rumble that I chose was a good answer. So we're going to be talking about the Royal Rumble from 2001, January 21st, 2001. The 25th anniversary of that show had just passed. And I mean, if you look at 2001 WWF at the time, this was kind of like a star-studded roster, because you had Stone Cold Steve Austin was still there, Triple H, Kurt Angle, Undertaker, Kane, Chris Jericho, Chris Benoit, The Rock, most of the big all-time players at that time. But then you have the mid-card guys, you have Christian, Edge, the Hardy Boys, Dudley Boys, and have your jobber lower end card guys, um but like I said, this took place on January 21st of 2001 at the New Orleans Center in New Orleans, Louisiana. And it was always, as customary since 1993, the Royal Rumble match when it received a world championship shot at that year's WrestleMania, which they did. This was the lead up to WrestleMania X7 or 17. And this was the infamous Stone Cold Steve Austin wins 3 Rumbles. And the Royal Rumble match also had Drew Carey in it as a participant. um, so, this was a one of the big four pay-per-views with WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. It was considered one of the big five pay-per-views as well, along with King of the Ring. But I always just, when I hear the big four, I usually think of Rumble, Mania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. So, like I said, it was from the New Orleans Arena in New Orleans, Louisiana, and this was some of the storylines that were going on at the time. So, at the Royal Rumble was WWF Champion Kurt Angle defending his title against Triple H in a standard match. The build-up to the match began on the January 8th episode of Raw is War, when Angle defended the championship against Stone Cold, which ended in no contest when Triple H interfered and ambushed Austin with a steel pipe. On the January 11th episode of SmackDown, Vince McMahon scheduled Angle to defend his title at the Royal Rumble against Triple H. Leading up to the event, both men spoke about the match, with Triple H claiming that Angle only held the championship because he allowed him to, and Angle denying this. This was also where Trish Stratus was kind of in the storyline with Stephanie at the time too during 2001. And plus, like, with this is like kind of leading up to, in '01, I should say, this is kind of leading up to when Shane buys WCW from Vince McMahon, and they have the uh Vince and Shane street fight at WrestleMania that year, which is not a pretty match, but it's not a bad match. um and then I know the next month's pay per view, No Way Out. It was like Triple H and Austin in like 3 stages of hell, which should have main evented the show, to be honest with you, or opened the show, I should say. And then the main event of that show was Angle and Rock, where Rock wins the title, and then you have Rock versus Austin 2 at WrestleMania X7, which becomes no DQ for no some weird reason. Um, Also on this card, going back to the Royal Rumble 2001 pay per view. Also taking place at this event was a ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship, which the champion Chris Benoit was defending his title against Chris Jericho. And So in the match, the title belt was suspended above the ring. From the ceiling, and the only method to win was to climb and retrieve the belt. Obviously, so the feud started at WrestleMania 2000. So they've been going on since WrestleMania 2000, which is crazy. Where Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho challenged Kurt Angle with both his Intercontinental Championship and the WWF European Championship on the line in a two-fall triple threat match, which both men pinned Kurt Angle to win the respective championships. Um, since that event, Benoit will hold 3 pay-per-view victories over Chris Jericho, culminating at SummerSlam in a 2 out of 3 falls match. On the January 4th episode of SmackDown, Benoit defended his title against Jericho in a standard match. During the match, Perry Saturn and Dean Malenko, part of the Radicals, interfered by attacking Chris Jericho, causing him to win the match by DQ, but not the championship. On the January 8th episode of Raw is War, Jericho teamed with the Hardy Boys versus the Radicals, which actually sounds pretty cool, which Jericho won by pinning Benoit. On the January 11th episode of SmackDown, Jericho demanded a title match at the Royal Rumble. Benoit offered to give Jericho any type of match he wanted, and Jericho chose a ladder match. So those are the two big storylines going into this pay-per-view here. We also have the OG commentary team before Paul Heyman takes over. This is way before the invasion and all that stuff. Um, we have JR, JR, and we have Jerry the King Lawler. So we had a match on Sunday Night Heat, which was Lowdown, D'Lo Brown, and Chaz, also known as Handbagger Mosh, which is a good gimmick. The Headbanger Mosh gimmick was a good gimmick. Defeated Kai and Tai, which was Taka Michinoku and Funaki, which is crazy. It says originally the winning team was to send one of their members into the Royal Rumble match, but Drew Carey wound up being entered instead, that's kind of funny. So the first match of the night was the tag title match, WWF tag title match, with Edge and Christian defending against the Dudley Boys. And that match only goes it goes like almost 10 minutes, which is pretty damn good. Next month after that, at No Way Out, Edge and Christian gets the tag titles back. Or no, no, Dudley Boys they regain the titles and stuff again, but then at Mania that year, Edge and Christian wins it again. He wins the titles again. So it's been a very hot potato between these tag titles and all that stuff. Which I ain't gonna complain about that. So then the next match was the Intercontinental Championship ladder match between Benoit and Jericho. And plus, there was a lot of crazy ass spots in that match too. At one point, Benoit dives through the rope head first at Jericho, but then Jericho hits him in the face with a steel chair. I'm like, ooh, that was crazy. That match, well, that Intercontinental title ladder match, by the way, that goes 18 minutes 43 seconds, which that's first longest match on the card. And then you have the cool down match between Ivory and China, which goes almost 3.5 minutes. Then you go into the WWF Championship title match between Kurt Angle and Triple H. Is heel versus heel at that time too, because Kurt Angle is not a babyface yet, and Triple H is still a heel at that time. But it is actually a pretty good match. I actually would recommend that one to anybody. Um, and plus, like when you think of like Kurt Angle at the time, I think he won. Yeah, he won at Survivor Series in 2000, and then he, yeah, he wins at Survivor Series in 2000 or No Mercy in 2000, and then he goes into Armageddon, which was December, and the six-man Hell in a Cell goes into No Way Out in 2001, loses it to The Rock. Yeah, so yeah, it's a good. I would say a good 5 month reign with that. Sorry, I had to do the math in my head real quick. And then we get into the meat and potatoes of the whole shebang here. The 30-man Royal Rumble match for WWF Championship match at WrestleMania X7, which is won by Stone Cold Steve Austin. So it actually shows like the entrance and all that stuff. Um, and the crazy thing is, Jeff Hardy enters at number one. He gets eliminated fourth by Matt Hardy. And he had three eliminations, which is crazy. Um, Out next was Bull Buchanan, also known as B Squared in later years. Matt Hardy was number three. Farouk was number four. Drew Carey was number five. He eliminated himself. Kane was number six. He was the freaking Iron Man of that match. Had 11 eliminations, and he was eliminated last by Stone Cold Steve Austin. Number seven was Raven. Al Snow was number eight. Perry Saturn was number 10. Number 10, or no, Perry Saturn was number 9. I'm sorry. Saturn was 9. Steve Blackman was number 10. Grandmaster Sexay was number 11. Honky Tonk Man was number 12. The Rock was number 13. He was the second longest guy in that match. Because he had three eliminations. Godfather was number 14. Taz Brutta was number 15. Bradshaw was number 16. Albert was 17. Hardcore Holly, and I agree, was number 18. K Quick, R Truth, now we know today, as was number 19. Val Venus, hello, ladies, was number 20. William Regal was number 21. Tess was number 22. Big Show was 23. Crash Holly, well, poor Crash Holly, was 24. Undertaker was 25. Scotty 2 Hottie was number 26. Stone Cold Steve Austin was 27. Billy Gunn, Jesus, freaking Billy Gunn, was 28. Haku, who was just in WCW at that time, like he wins the hardcore title, and he goes deuces and he peaced out, and then he just ends up back up in the World Wrestling Federation. That's kind of funny. And then number 30 was Rikishi. I mean, like I said, like, so you have what you have Kane, like I said, you have Kane, you have The Rock, um you have Big Show, who's a big player at the time. So you have Kane, Rock, uh, Big Show, Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin. You have Rikishi in there. So you have some pretty good names in there. Then you have like the lower mid card guys like the Hardy Boys, Bull Buchanan. You have Raven, Al Snow, Perry Saturn, Steve Blackman. You have the Good Father. I said Godfather, but it's the Good Father. And then you have like Hardcore Holly, Albert. Like some like lower mid card guys, like mid card, lower mid card guys. But this was kind of around the time when like the 24/7 core title rule was still in play here too. So then I know, like, after the Royal Rumble win, it was Austin and Triple H at No Way Out in Three Stages of Hell, which we are getting in the upcoming 2K26 game, which I'm so excited. And then Trish would face Stephanie at No Way Out, and then Rock would defeat Angle at No Way Out for the WWF Championship. And then you had Rock versus Austin 2. And I think it's kind of funny. It's so funny that at 15, 17, and 19, they faced each other. And it's like, I think it was like 16, WrestleMania 16, Austin goes down with an injury. And then 18, he I don't think he's I think he's not actively competitive. Like he's not competing at that time. But I know he doesn't do very much at WrestleMania 18. I know at 19 he goes fucking balls to the wall. Um, yeah, let me just see here. Like I know like I could be wrong here, but yeah, because 18 because 18 he Austin faces Scott Hall, and then Rock faces Hogan at WrestleMania 18. That's right. So, like, they don't really interact with each other for very long, but then it's like they kind of come back together and then go split apart and then come back together. Um, I would say Rock and Austin's a good trilogy. I think WrestleMania 17 is the best one out of the trilogy, just to be honest. But that's just my opinion. But like watching this whole pay per view again was actually kind of fun because you think about the time period, right? You think about early 2000s, and when you think about the early 2000s, you think of Stone Cold Steve Austin, you think about Undertaker, Triple H, The Rock, you think about Kane, because this is just about to be kind of going into two-man power trip soon with Austin and Triple H. Because that's when um, Triple H wins the Intercontinental title from Jeff Hardy, and then no, he wins it from Jericho, and then he goes into winning the tag titles from Kane and Undertaker with Austin. So it's kind of like just like kind of a weird, odd time for Austin and Triple H. I mean, it was good matches too. Um, but this Royal Rumble win is like a very, very like stamp of approval at the time because I think it was like Austin won I think it was 97 and then 98 Rumble. I think. Um, I got double check myself here. I know it was no, not 95. Jesus Christ. Let's see here. So it was 97, 98, and then 2001. Stone Cold won. Which I mean, to be fair, it's like not a lot of people could say that they won three times. Um, I mean, like Hogan won twice, like Shawn won twice. Um, like I said, like no, not a lot of people can say that they won a Royal Rumble. Not a lot of people could say that. I mean, Cena won it like twice. And Cody Rhodes won it twice, back to back years. Um, I think it's still crazy that Stone Cold Steve Austin is the only person to hold three different Royal Rumble wins, and this is mind boggling to me. So, with that being said, this is actually a really cool look back at the time period of 2001 with the Royal Rumble 2001 And that is it for our episode. I know it's kind of short. It's not going to be very, very long. I know that. Sorry. But if you have made it to the very end of this video, please make sure to follow us on all social media links in the description below, which will take you to our Linktree page, which will take you to our Instagram pages, Twitter pages, the podcast Reddit page is on there. Uh, Excuse me, sorry. My gaming YouTube channel is on there. I am currently at 1687 right now. Um, which is crazy in itself. I don't know if I'm going to be making to 1700 by the end of the month. I really don't know. But if I do, that's awesome. If I don't, I have the whole rest of the year to get to there. Yeah, and tonight's song of the night, it is going to be another Good Charlotte song. This one is going to be predictable. It is off the Chronicles of Life and Death album, and I haven't heard much about that album. I want to like listen to it sometime, just to like get like a good feel for it. But yeah, that is tonight's song of the night, and that is it for now. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of the month. Happy Royal Rumble season, everybody, and I'll see y'all in February. Peace.